This is TCR Troy Community Radio.com. I'm Clint Myers, and time now for the Mayor's Report. And with me, of course, Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning.
Clint, good morning to you, and good morning to David, who's doing the video here, and good morning to all the listeners.
Looks like we've got another weekend of some wintry, I like how they say it, wintry mix.
Yeah, I call it an event because you never know how big the event is going to be, but I'm disappointed. Usually I'm very upbeat, but I'm disappointed that Puxatawny Phil, who we always look forward to,
yes,
goes out, sees his shadow, goes hiding, and then we have 6 more weeks of winter. And I'll tell you, this winter has been such an up and down winter between cold and ice and snow, but I got to give a shout out. A lot of people are quick to point out when things aren't done exactly at the time the event takes place, but our street crews, you've mentioned it many times, Clint.
They are beyond amazing. I mean, when you think of the size of city that Troy is, we're not Dayton, but we're not a burg. And lots of streets. We've got a lot of main artery roads. We've got a lot of the secondary roads, and then you're back into the housing developments. So it winds up that the guys are working hard. I saw them like 3 deep, clearing off Main Street just the other day. And those guys, they don't roll out of bed and start doing it when they're ready to. That's 5:30 in the morning that they hit the streets, salting and plowing, and making sure that the citizens have safe travel.
Well, I appreciate what you just said, Clint, because they do take pride in what they're doing, and it's a tough job. Let's face it, especially when you have an early morning event,
yes,
and you got traffic coming in and out. But they take their job seriously. And they can't get everywhere all the time at the moment that everybody wants. But if we could all be patient, realizing that, as you said, the safety is in the main roads and the secondary roads so that we can get out to those roads to get on our business throughout the day. And I know it's tough, but that Puxatawny Phil, when I think of 6 more weeks of what we've been experiencing this year, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I think Puxatawny Phil is best served with maybe gravy. That's where he belongs this year.
Well, it's a fun thing to always look forward to, but I've had my share of winter. I'm ready for thinking spring and then thinking summer, and our activities and events are starting to unfold for that spring, summer, and fall. It's going to be a wonderful time to be in Troy, Ohio, and in Miami County.
Absolutely. I was just talking to Nicole Loy on the Main Street Report, and she was letting us know that next week, Dee Mahan's going to be up on the program, and we're talking about farmers market.
There you
go.
So
there are things that we could look forward to, knowing that the planning is underway now, and it won't be long.
That's right.
Just keep crossing your fingers. Maybe Puxatawny Phil got it wrong, because there's a hedgehog that has been choosing the winner of the Super Bowl and has gotten it right for the last 4 or 5 years, and this year he got it wrong. So maybe the rodents aren't with it this year.
Okay, we'll hope, but we'll get through it. It's winter, and we know it in Midwestern.
This is what we get.
This is what we get.
Welcome to Ohio. It could be 40 degrees today and 10 tomorrow and 20 below the day after that. And 60 the day after that.
Absolutely.
You had council last week.
We did have council last Monday and on February the 5th, and we had a number of items that we discussed, and I'll go over those very quickly. One of the things, as we all know, we saw La Piazza close their doors. Now, being at that spot in downtown Troy, I'm going to guess that that's going to be filled pretty quickly, because that's that's prime territory.
Oh, absolutely.
But in council, they were also looking to Smith's Boathouse Restaurant they're going to do some improvements within the building itself, and Larry Smith is convinced that this is going to help even already a very popular restaurant. So council,
it's great to see them growing.
Yes. Council is giving them a loan, approved the loan from the Small Business Loan Fund to support the Smith's Boathouse Restaurant. That was part of our discussion. It was emergency because they want to get moving on it, and it was passed unanimously. We also have some system replacements with our wastewater treatment plant. That's common, and things that we want to do to keep things upgraded so they're moving, flowing smoothly.
That, and you want to stay on top of that. You don't want that infrastructure to fall behind.
Absolutely. And as we all know, the Kettering Health Network you're starting to see the frame of that hospital being built, and we had a dedication of right-of-way, small dedication that was approved again unanimously. We are meeting the needs or the requirements of EPA, and that periodically is brought forward to council to approve those adjustments and amendments, and that also works with our sewer pretreatment. So that's pretty common as well, and we do that regularly, and they pass that unanimously. Probably one of the newer items is the curfew for minors, and that's basically with the new, I guess, culture that we are and people having jobs that are lasting a little longer, they wanted to make the adjustments to fit more appropriate curfew. Still a curfew for young people, but
this moves the curfew to what time?
Well, it goes to, I believe, midnight instead of 11.
Okay.
And you can see, because jobs now are open a little longer, more movement, even for social events, things seem to center around midnight. So council passed that unanimously as well. We do have a couple public hearings I want to just share. That'll be, and we'll talk a little bit about when the next meeting will be. But we'll have two. One will be on a rezoning from agricultural residential to a residential Troy zoning requirement, and that'll be single family 3B. And that'll be a public hearing on February 20th. And then we're going to be amending the zoning code to discuss a downtown riverfront overlay district. There has been some amendments to that were proposed by Councilman Todd Sievert and again passed unanimously to amend. So there will be a public hearing on the overlay district at the February council meeting as well. And basically it's talking about the boundary lines, the process to review that council wants to have, also some say into an overlay district. And the details are very extensive, so Mr. Sievert, if you want to ask him, he could probably, he's the lawyer. But everybody on council understood, and they'll move it forward to an amendment at the February council meeting. We had earlier we had a workshop talking about the West Main Street Corridor Improvement Project. Yeah. It's down the road. I don't want you to think it's going to happen right away, but we're starting to discuss that, and we haven't even designed it yet. But we're trying to bring people up into the scope of that project, which is going to be pretty intensive. But it's not going to happen this year.
Okay. Now, McCaig, is this the year that McCaig gets finished off?
That's the biggest project we have. Of course, we have a North Market Street completion project as well. So we're going to ask everybody that's in the city to be patient. Knowing that once it gets done, as you and I have talked about, it always looks good and it lasts.
And it's always better when it's done.
And we're doing it with utilities in mind.
Right, all at one time.
So it's one package. So we do have some major capital improvement projects underway, but we're trying to systematically put those in a priority list.
And keep one thing in mind, too. You get those upgrades there, that affects property values when all the infrastructure is at its best, and the streets and roads and gas lines and water lines and all of that.
When it's done.
Right,
now,
when
they see it all under construction, there's frustrations, and we all share that. We understand that. It gives us a chance to look at the city in a different way. We take a different route.
That's right. Figure out a new way to go. Now, council is not going to be on its regular schedule coming up here, not this Monday, but the following Monday. It would have been the 19th,
right.
But that's President's Day.
Yeah, you may have heard I mentioned the 20th. I wasn't wrong. That President's Day is on the 19th, and we always postpone our council meetings till the next day, which would be the 20th. It'll still be at 7 o'clock, still be at City Hall, and there will, as I said, a couple public hearings for people to be involved in and get input to council. So, thank you for bringing that up. I don't want people to show up on the 19th. City offices will be closed. However, I will say recycling and trash pickup
runs on schedule.
It runs on schedule. So I want to make sure that
is
everybody
so
knows
great. That is probably the best idea. That keeps everything on schedule.
Right. Just a couple of times in the year where we change that policy, but most of the time during the year, if we have a holiday and we have a city closing, City Hall closing, that means everything else still moves forward as scheduled.
Now, when we were talking about some of these road projects that are coming up, and you say you've got to stay upbeat and. One way to do it, we can practice this Wednesday, because this Wednesday is Valentine's Day. But keep that with you throughout the year, that same warm, fuzzy feeling.
Mayor Jenkins put on our welcome board, Be Kind. And what better way? Every day should be Valentine's Day. If we treat people with kindness and respect, it's an uplift and it's a more joyous way of looking at life. If more people did that, we probably have a little better chance of having peace in the world as well. But in Troy, Valentine's Day is coming up on the 14th. I think it's a Wednesday, so we just look a hint out there for everybody that is married or has significant others to show kindness and respect and love. But that can be an everyday thing, and I really do appreciate what Mayor Jenkins put on the welcome board, and I've kept it that for the years because I believe in it. Be kind, be respectful. And that's where civic pride is citywide when we do that.
All right, Mayor. Thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to add this morning?
Wow, we've covered a lot of bases.
As always.
We'll see everybody in the next Saturday show.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mayor Beamish. This has been the Mayor's Report. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN.